Okay, State Farm, this is Michael Ash here with Panda Exteriors. We are here on behalf of the Batia residents looking to do a repair assessment on this specific shingle, which is called
Royal Estate ICO.
Royal Estate by ICO, a designer grade shingle that we have had an RLS on. We have had an inspection. Coverage was open for 9 damaged shingles, I believe, to repair and replace. However, since the RLS, we have been having quite a bit of difficulty in finding supplier warehouses that actually have it in stock or have access to it. So I do know that the RLS system is really just, identifying and locating, but sometimes in those location services we have a hard time finding it. So what we are actually doing here is repairing a specific damaged shingle that's already been labeled, and we are going to pull out the nails and break the tar bonds of the shingles above so that we can pull those nails out, slide this existing shingle out, and then replace it with the same one, hopefully in the same existing nail holes, just so that we can kind of demonstrate what it is that we're looking at here from terms of repairability. And it seems like we've had a little bit of feedback from State Farm so far, saying that the brittleness of the shingles and the roof has been ongoing and obviously considered in the form of wear and tear. As you can see some of this present around it. But in this specific scenario, it really wouldn't apply to the actual repair if, as you can tell, the repaired section that we are about to work on has no existing signs of specific wear and tear around it. So if any were to be created in the process of this repair, that would be considered consequential and proximate to this specific directed repair order, meaning that it wouldn't be causation that the roof is wear and tear. The causation would be from the repair, which then caused damage and granular loss or whatever else that is going to be documented here from this directed repair. Like, that'd be the only reason. So without it, we would not be here and we would not cause damage to surrounding areas if that is the case. We do have 2 examples that were already provided. We're just hoping here today we can get the right documentation for you guys to kind of see what it is that we're looking at and hopefully find the best solution here for the insured. So with that, I am going to hand the camera off and get in the safety zone so that we can start this repair. And without any breaks or edits, and utilizing the proper tools and methods of the roof snake, being as gentle as possible here to break the tar bond and then pull these nails out so that we can slide the shingle out and replace. Which, keep in mind, we are held to a very critical standard when it comes to the insurance restoration side of this construction, which in many cases, if the homeowner was left up to their own devices to hire a contractor or a roofer to do the same exact thing that we are doing here under the direction of the carrier, State Farm, to repair 9 shingles, it's highly doubtful that whoever would come out here to do that, if they were not in the insurance restoration side of this industry, would perform those repairs at the same standards that we are critically held to in how we do it. So we do want to, make room for the reality of construction and demolition here, and then also give a proper and fair assessment in good faith. So let's take a look. This is the specific shingle. There has been a pretty stark crease line from the wind. I'm not going to lift it too high, but this is the damaged one that we're going to slide out and repair, which means we have to break the bonds of this row, this row, this row, and this row in order to access these nails. So first things first, let's see if we can get in here. The roof is a little chilly, so I want to make sure that we're doing this up to your standards. And I can already tell we got some granular loss that's falling down the roof, and that would not be the case if we didn't just break this tar bond to lift this shingle out. So this one's removed. See if we can get this one. This one's already loose. And as you can tell, look, we've got granular loss. Just going to lightly touch it, just like we would in a brittle test. We've got granular loss falling all down the roof. This one's really tight, and it just tore significantly by breaking the bond. I'll show for that here in a second. Let me break this bond over here, and then I'll take the camera so that you can see exactly what I see from right there. This one's relatively loose. I'm trying to be careful. And without touching anything else, I want to kind of document so that we can do this each stage of the process. What we are looking at here is the damaged shingle. Now these are the 2 rows above and the 2 rows above that so that we can access the nails. Look, just by going to break the Tor bond, we have some significant tear through because this shingle was seriously tight in that process. Significant tear through of this specific shingle right here, which is completely damaged it, actually creating one of these laminate tabs to separate as well. And this is just by breaking the bond. We haven't even got a fraction of the way through the process. Little bit of this same thing over here with this specific shingle. And so we just want to make sure that we're documenting this properly, because all we've done is break this bond and we still have to pull out the nails and slide this shingle out. And then, oh, as you can tell, now, like I said, this laminate tab has already been broken from just breaking this bond. And look at this level of creasing that you can see here up at the top with that granular loss. Looks like we've got a little bit going on here and a little bit going on here. And this is the direct row right above. And this is kind of the problem with these designer shingles. They're very tough when it comes to the elements, but they're also very hard to repair with because they're so like tight and secure, to where I think they have multiple Tor bonds. Let's take a look up underneath. Multiple Tor bonds. I'm gonna lift this low. Yeah, so we've got 1, 2, 3 Tor bonds on each one of these laminate tabs. So they hold up to the weather fairly well, but they do not hold up to repairs well. And this is what we're, dealing with here. The reality of this level of construction. This laminate tab seems to have just a little bit of creasing and granular loss already started. And like I said, we are going to finish the rest of the process and then document each stage of the way with no cuts or edits in the same way that I'm doing right now. That way you guys can see in real time exactly what's going on from here. So next step, I need to lift this up as gentle as I possibly can to see where these nail access points are. And this is torn, by the way, right here. Didn't even see that. Trying to get in there as gently as possible to get that nail, which has torn through the shingle, but it's also not flat down, so I'm gonna have to get in there and remove that nail or beat it down so that it's flat before I finish the rest of the process. But I'm not gonna do that right now for sake of the repair, so that I can give you guys the proper viewpoints here. So here's our next nail. See, and this is, we're told, do not lift the shingle over X amount of height and this and that and the third, and it's like there's not necessarily an easy way to do this all the time, and not every case is the same, right? Some shingles have more nails than they should in whatever installation process that has taken place. So this nail has once again torn through this shingle that we're removing. So once I get a little bit further, I'm gonna have to make sure that that one's down flat, secure, so that we're not gonna put the homeowner in a precarious position to incur water damage. And trying to get in here, as you can see, this shingle is not more than 45 degrees and not even the whole thing is lifted. So trying to get in here in the way that you guys can sometimes critically assess for us is you know, by all relative means, not always realistic. So, that nail is also not able to be accessed from this first course. So let's get this next row taken a look at so that we can get this shingle out here, and then I can have a better perspective to show you. This is a really, really, really tough nail. And just like that, we have our first and only nail able to be accessed from this repair.
Not good.
All right, fun stuff. That one tore through the shingle. Sad. Here's our next one. This one tore through the shingle. But I might be able to get that one without lifting the shingles too high. Second nail. And this shingle has completely torn in the process, but I'll show for that a little bit more. There we go. Come on, baby. You see how careful I'm trying to be here, but to get the nails without lifting these designer shingles higher, because they're very taut. They're very taut and hard, and quite frankly, brittle. So I don't want to cause damage inside of this process without fully justifying the need to lift these shingles higher to access these nails. Because we got to get them out. We got to get them out, and we got to replace the shingle, and we got to make sure that they're flush. Otherwise, this would not exist as a proper repair. This is sad.
You want to try the pry bar?
No, I've done that before, and State Farm said I didn't use the proper tools and methods.
Okay, never mind.
And that's something that I think is another example of unrealistic standards. Yeah, there's literally no way for me to get this nail out without lifting this shingle even higher. So, State Farm, I got to show for what it is that we're looking at so that you can get a very clear example. So, as showed before, we have clear signs of damage on this second course, which we haven't even really gotten into to access nails yet. We have damage to this specific laminate tab. We have damage down here where this shingle is completely torn through. We have damage accruing on this, and this is the repaired shingle. We have damage accruing on this specific shingle above, as you can tell. And we have damage accruing on this laminate tab, and this is a separate shingle going left. That one was going right. And we have damage to this specific area as well, just from breaking the bond. And where is my area of breaking this to access the nails. See these two nails? Can't get them out. We cannot get them out without lifting the shingle higher than your normal standards would be in order to access them. Then we've got a couple more that tore through entirely. Where are we here? See these? Look, this is 3 nails right here. 3 nails butted back to back to back to back to back that are so tightly down in there that I cannot get them out without creating more damage to the surrounding area that would be held up to a different level of scrutiny. And then, okay, so this is the shingle that's already damaged, by the way, directly above. Look at this. This is the problem with these designer shingles. You can't repair them like this, especially when they're older than 15 years. But see this? See how these nail holes have torn through completely? And I didn't even get those nails yet. So this would show signs by any other standard that a repair would be unsuccessful, at least in the level that we're being told to do. So with that, I've documented this clear signs of failure and damage so far. So I would like to either pause this video and submit it, or, you know, have your grace and permission to understand that, hey, got to get these nails out to pull this shingle. We're not even halfway through the process yet. All the nails haven't even been gone. And here we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damaged shingles. 4 damaged shingles, I'm sorry. But a couple of the laminate tabs are attached directly around this repair. This is clear evidence that should state the entire story that we got going on here. Now, I could do one of two things. I could, you know, stop the video right now, submit it, and at least you guys are aware of, you know, some of the complications involved in this. Or I can lift these shingles higher than you're gonna like for me to access these nails, pull them out, and then swap out the shingle, which, keep in mind, as I'm continuing to do so, even if I did so under practical standards, this would create more damage than what we're currently looking at right now. So I think the best thing to do right now is to submit this, and, you know, once you guys take a look at it, then we'll come back in the same exact form to remove those nails and swap out this shingle. But I think this should do for now. By all standards, you know, this is very hard to refute here, but by all standards, we have creasing, we have cracking and tearing, we have creasing, cracking, tearing, cracking, tearing, creasing, 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 and tearing, 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 all through. So this is by all standards, not even 50% of the way done, and would be deemed by every insurance carrier I've worked with in the past and every contractor within this industry and the shingle manufacturer themselves as a failed repair attempt, or an unsuccessful repair attempt. And keep in mind, this is very, very, very clear documentation of not even being all the way through the process. All right, thanks, State Farm. Let us know what we should do next. It might turn out to be that the whole roof does not need to be replaced based off of this specific evidence here. But at the end of the day, this is the scenario that we run into on these designer grade shingles. And if we can't find them, then you tell us how to proceed, because I do believe that the homeowner is at a stage of non-repairable and needs to have this roof addressed sooner than later before more damage or more likelihood for water to start coming in. So yeah, I think this is a sense of urgency. Let's get this going for them.
And it's 45 degrees today.
Yep, above 45 degrees, and a beautiful day out, actually. Snow on the roof still, but it's melting. But we are here. I'm in bare hands, and that's you know, normally I got gloves on all the time. I'm always cold. But thanks, State Farm.